you put him to death if there are 2 or 3 witnesses, but if there's only 1 witness, you don't do it.
Right.
So it's kind of like, again, another journalistic command.
Right.
Make sure you have 2 sources.
Right. Right. Well, yes. Well, that's a very, I mean, journalistically, that's a very healthy approach. It does remind me also, though, beyond the journalistic implications, like we were talking about Saudi Arabia earlier. Well, to prove rape in traditional Islam, my understanding is that you have to have 4 witnesses to the penetration, 4 male witnesses to the penetration. So it's, you can go too far. You can go. Your demand for evidence can, there are different evidentiary standards in every field and in different situations, and I don't know, 2 or 3 witnesses. Yes, I guess maybe that wasn't a worthy contribution. It's good that they're demanding certain, send in your journalist to report back on the situation, but yeah. But don't send in too many journalists. Here, let me see what else. Oh, well, this is the one I got to ask. Okay. All right. So for you, and I asked this to you. So the pig. It's talking about the animals that are not edible, and the pig, for it has a split hoof, but not the cud. It is unclean to you. So the question to me is, I come from a relatively sciencey background. I'm interested in what you call chimeras, which are animals that contain the DNA of different species, that you can produce these animals by genetic manipulation, and this field is developing very rapidly. So if you could produce a pig that chewed its cud, and eventually I don't think it's certainly not beyond the realm of probability that you could turn a non-ruminant animal into a ruminant animal by genetic manipulation, but they're probably still a ways off. Well, then it would be clean to eat that. Then you could eat that pork because it's defining the pig here. A pig has a split hoof but doesn't chew its cud. So you design me a pig that chews its cud, and that's kosher bacon for everyone, right? Isn't that true?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So are from Jews ready for that?
Yeah, I think there's even a rabbi. There's some famous rabbi who says when you find a kosher pig, slaughter it and eat it. Yeah.
There's a rabbi now who says, "Wow." There's a rabbi now who says that? This is a modern.
I don't know if it's modern. I think it's historical.
Well, but that basically means like they're going to be from communities that eat pork when that animal arrives. I mean, someone is going to interpret it as kosher, right? I mean, isn't that realistic?
I've never really thought about this.
Right.
I have to plead ignorance. I mean, there certainly is much hate in the Torah as love that's enjoined. As I just read this, it says, the fierceness of his anger. Right.
Yeah, I mean, that dichotomy people put out about the loving God of the Christian Testament and the spiteful or vengeful God of the Hebrew Testament. To me, that's sometimes I've heard that criticized as anti-Semitic even. It seems fairly valid.
Seems fairly valid.
There are nice things in here though too. Right. I mean, it's talking about about the 7-year people getting off their debts in the 7th year, and there's pieces of compassion and respect for vulnerable people here in this parsha, but it seems very much overwhelmed by viciousness towards transgressors.
It's interesting, chapter 14, verse 25, and it says, and you shall bestow your money on all that your heart desires.
You people are still making fun of me for sweating. I need another.
This is a 3. Here, take the whole bloody roll.
Yeah. I'm
This
just gonna
is
take
a
the whole thing.
3 napkin.
Yeah.
4
I'm
napkin
keeping it
pasha.
right near me.
4 paper towel pasha.
I don't
This
care.
is-
I don't care what they say. I say it again. Chicks dig it. I
This
don't
is
care.
and this is the super absorbent.
Yeah,
Super
this is-
absorbent paper towels that he's going through.
Okay, keep going.
So it's interesting. It says, verse 25, and you shall bestow that money on all that your heart desires. So, as long as you live by the Torah, you're allowed to spend freely on whatever you want.
Right. This is 1425.
Yeah.
You make right. All right. Let me. If the road so you cannot carry it because. Sorry, I'm just reading it.
Yeah.
Then, if the road will be too long for you, so that you cannot carry it, because the place that Hashem your God will choose to place His name there is far from you, for Hashem your God will have blessed you, then you may exchange it for money, wrap up the money in your hand, and go to the place that Hashem your God will choose. You may spend the money for whatever your soul desires.
Oxen, sheep,
beverages.
wine, strong drink, whatever thy soul
Anything
requires.
your soul wishes.
Twice it says,
You shall eat it there before Hashem. That's kind of hot. And you and your household. Wow. That's
there shall
badass.
yeah. And it says you can spend it as you want. And
Spend money on whatever your heart desires or whatever your soul wishes, and indulge in it right there before Hashem in His house.
That's definitely not aesthetic.
But
Aesthetic,
that's like kind
definitely
of
not aesthetic. Yeah.
right. But it's not just not aesthetic. It reminds me of those, like, I've heard people say in the West that the temple before it was fully Judaized, that there was. I mean, this is probably BS, but that there were sex cults and stuff around it, and maybe it's true. I have no idea. But that's kind of sexy. That whole thing, like it's like kind of like
Right.
find something decadent, whatever you want, and then take it to Hashem's place and then just go at it.
Does the Outscroll commentary have anything about indulging your heart's desire there? They touch that?
And no, it's all technical stuff about about observing. I mean, they're saying that if you use the Maser money to buy offerings, they must be peace offerings of rejoicing. Shalmi Simcha. Since this verse requires that Maser products must be eaten, elevation offerings may not be bought with Maser funds because they are completely burned on the altar.
What do you think the rabbis do with this verse in the pasuk that says, "And you shall spend the money on all that your heart desires"? How do you think
I assume they'll
the
say,
rabbis of the
"Now."
tradition deal with that? That doesn't mean
It doesn't mean what it
fine,
seems to mean.
Yeah, it doesn't really mean fine wine that you can.
Right, and it either means tikkun olam or it means some other form of self-sacrifice. I don't. I mean, seriously, like I don't know. It doesn't. It says that. Yeah, I mean, they reinterpret it. That's what,
Yeah.
And then they claim that's what wise. That's not just their interpretation. That's the wisdom of the text. That's what it means. You know, like that's what they always do, isn't it?
Right.
Am I wrong? I'm willing for someone to say, you know what, you're an idiot. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And this is what it really
I'm
means.
going to Google Deuteronomy 20.
Yeah.
14 verse 25.
Because I am asking. I mean, I'm everything I'm saying it in the spirit of inquiry. I'm interested in hearing why I'm wrong.
Deuteronomy.
And like I said, but
14:25.
I mean, because that's whatever your soul desires, whatever your soul wishes, and you shall.
So I think if there's any.
It doesn't specific. I mean, look. I hope I don't come off as preoccupied with gender or anything, but when it's talking about, it's a very male-centric document, and when it's saying you may spend the money for whatever your soul desires, we know that Tamar was a prostitute in ancient Israel, and so you have to think at that time also, like, this is like, well, on anything you want, that this is also I
Well, it doesn't say women that you're allowed to buy.